Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Star Flames and we are back baby with another banging video. In this video guys, we're gonna talk about Nessa Diab, the partner of Colin Kaepernick. She's coming out to speak out in support of Nicki Minaj. Now she made a tweet and she stated in that tweet that the smear campaign tactics against Nicki, those were the same that Roc Nation had allegedly used against her husband, Colin Kaepernick. Now, after she made the post, a lot of people had a lot to say. So as such, Nessa decided that she wanted to, make a video to address the entire smear campaign targeting Nicki Minaj because she wants the public to know that when her husband decided to kneel against the NFL and the NFL decided that they were going to use Jay-Z's Roc Nation to get the black community to do their deeds, this is the same smear campaign that her husband experienced. And then Desiree basically said, see, we're getting the people to do what we want. Now everyone wants to be on the stage. And there were numerous smear campaigns against Colin Kaepernick. So now Nessa wants social media to know that, listen, this is what happens. When you speak against Jay-Z and Roc Nation, they're going to come at you and they're going to use their little trolls, they're going to use their little bots to target you in their smear campaign. Let's take a look at this clip of Nessa speaking out together, and then I'll get back with the rest of my commentary.
Okay, so let me finish what I was saying. If you're wondering, why am I readdressing all of the things that I have already addressed years ago? Many people addressed all of these things. It's because Nicki Minaj recently shared her experience of going through different smear campaigns and what happens behind the scenes, talking about Jay-Z, Desiree Perez, and Roc Nation, right? And a lot of people, what I saw online, were questioning her about this. And sadly, I knew it wasn't even a question because I saw it happen to Colin. And I called this out years ago. That's why, sadly, I'm readdressing everything over. But again, do your research, go back to the timeline. It's all there. It's all there. Okay. And the worst part about during that time were the smear campaigns that were happening behind the scenes to try to discredit Colin publicly, to sway people to think that Colin was okay being blackballed or he was asking for a lot of money to play again. He was never offered a job the minute he protested. Never. Never. Okay? And no, like I said then, Jay-Z never spoke to Colin before he made that deal with the NFL. No. He only spoke to Colin after he made that deal, and he was okay with the deal and knew exactly what it would do to Colin, and he was okay with it. You know how I know? I was there. I heard the conversation.
Yes, Nessa is definitely correct on that because there is a lot of false narrative around Colin being offered huge chunks of money to play again, but he refused it. Now, Nessa is coming out to speak out because she's saying that she can identify this smear campaign. Also, what she did make clear in one of her posts is that while she respects Jay-Z, she can definitely see the same thing that happened to her husband happening to Nicki Minaj. There tends to be this consistent pattern of anyone who goes against Roc Nation or Jay-Z, they get attacked in the similar capacity. Now guys, as you can remember, Do you know how sometimes they say some people will advocate for the black community and some people will lose it all advocating for the black community? Colin Kaepernick is one of those individuals who advocated for his people, advocated against racism, and he lost it all because he chose to kneel. Now, just to give you guys a back history in case you've missed it and not quite catching up, Colin Kaepernick's his protest was a stand against racial injustice and police brutality. Do you guys remember the year when it took place? It was back in 2016 when police brutality amongst the black community, it was at an all-time high. And if you remember when Beyonce released Lemonade, after she gave birth, yes, she realized that, oh my God, I'm a mother. And seeing what happened to Trayvon Martin, no, this is definitely wrong. And Beyonce then spoke out, but it's just that Colin Kaepernick was ahead of her in realizing the brutality in the United States against Black people and the racial injustice. He stated that he would not stand up to show pride in a flag or a country that oppressed Black people and people of color. He pointed to bodies in the streets and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. So he was talking about how these police would, kill people and colored people in cold blood. They would be put on paid leaves and then that's it. They are never held accountable. Now, initially, Kaepernick sat on the bench during the national anthem in a few preseason games. He later changed his protest to kneeling after speaking with a former U.S. Army Green Beret, Nate Boyer, who suggests kneeling would be a more respectful way to protest while still honoring military veterans. Do you guys see what's happening today? Only if people had stand with Colin at that time. I tell you, there's always a pattern. Now, Kaepernick's protest sparked a wider movement. Other NFL players and athletes from various sports at different levels began to join him by kneeling or taking other actions during the anthem to protest similar issues. Now, this went on, and Colin Kaepernick, he faced numerous backlash, and after 2016 season, he became basically a free agent. He was not signed by the NFL team, and many analysts and observers believe he was effectively blackballed from the league due to his protests. He was. In 2017, he filed a grievance against the NFL and its owners, accusing them of colluding to keep him out of the league. The two sides reached a confidential settlement in 2019. Now, his protest, it gained renewed national attention back in 2020 following the George Floyd incident, but it is still a struggle today as more Americans are realizing today more than ever there's a growing concern about racial injustice, and it stinks across the country, especially at a time like this. So Nessa Diab is coming out to speak out in support of Nicki Minaj. But many people are distracted by Nicki Minaj and not realizing that there's a greater play that is at hand, and many people need to stop focusing on Nicki and just look at the words that Nicki Minaj is saying. Look at who has said them before and look at what is taking place in your country today. And at that point in time, you can tell, is Nicki Minaj the crazy one for speaking the truth? But then again, remember, it has always been the history for a Black man or a colored individual to be labeled as crazy or mentally unwell or being on drugs whenever they speak, highlight, or expose racial injustices or any disparity that exists amongst the colored community. But that's all I have to share in this video with you guys. I really do hope that people start paying more attention instead of alluding to the fact that something is wrong with Nicki. Now, as I've said before, I'm not going to say Nicki Minaj is not on drugs because I don't live with her. She could very well be on drugs or very well not. But if you look at what she's saying, how much of it have we heard before? And how much of it can you attest to as an individual observer? How much of what Nicki has been saying appears to hold some amount of truth to it, and have we seen this pattern before? And if your answer is at least yes, at least 25% of the times, then ask yourself, is Nicki crazy? And is she telling a lie? But that's all I have to share in this video with you guys. Let me know what's your 2 cents on the matter. While you're at it, do all you need to do on this video to support your girl. Peace.